Hello and welcome to Book Talks, where we talk about books, books drama, and our bookish opinions. Today we'll be doing our May reading wrap-up. Right now we're currently raising money still for Code Pink, so there will be a link below to donate to that to help the citizens in Cuba that are currently affected by the United States blockade. And if you want more content from us, you can find us at Literary Liberation. I'm your co-host, Kristen. You can find me at 10CBR on all social media platforms.
And I'm your other co-host, Mariah, and you can find me at Hungry Rye on all social media platforms.
So this month, I don't know if it was last month or not, too. We're actually filming this on the last day of the month, too, so nothing will change.
Maybe page numbers if we decide to read more tonight or something, but
Well,
I don't think anyone's planning on finishing anything.
Well, where I am, I only have 2 more hours left in the day, so even then.
This is also true.
I probably won't have any extra page numbers. But I had a pretty good reading month this month, personally. I don't know I don't think yours was all that hot.
My average rating is pretty good, but I had some good nonfiction. So I think that made it up.
Well, because I ended up reading 8 books this month, which is 1 more than last month. And the month before that, too. So,
that's good.
Yeah.
If you were wondering, StoryGraph is what we use to calculate all of our statistics. I'm sure you're going to see graphics on the screen. So that is where they're at. I get asked anytime I share anything about my reading and what I rate everything. That is my go-to platform. I just this year decided to start doing the premium subscription. It's definitely worth it for $5.
Yeah. Well, that's one thing too. StoryGraph, we are very religiously updating it. At least me personally, every day I'm putting in the exact pages I'm reading and everything. And if you do that, it will give you breakdown stats for every individual thing you could want to know. There's not anything that I feel like I'm missing in StoryGraph because we do pay for the pro, so you can also tag the books as your own, because I know personally I track books based on the gender of author that I'm reading, and then also through how I visit how I'm consuming it, not just based off of whether or not it was an ebook, audiobook, or a physical book. I'll track it down to hardback versus paperback versus all that stuff, and you can make all of those your own graphs and track them yourself that way too with StoryGraph, which is really cool.
Yeah, this year I've been trying to read a lot more of books that I physically own, so I've been making sure to add, because it's a very simple little button that's always at the bottom of every book that says own. Yes. So I've actually been making an effort to put that on there. Sometimes I'm just doing stuff quick, or going back through. If I end up buying it later and I had it as an e-copy, then I end up marking it as owned. I don't know. I guess it's up to how you decide it. Preference. But I do have it. So if you see me looking down, it's because I have StoryGraph down here and I have everything else up here. So sorry, but you did pretty well this month.
Yes. I read 8 books.
Technically read less, but I read more pages. So I'm down a book, but up the pages because it was longer.
So how many books did you read?
I read 12 compared to last month, which was 13.
Oh, okay. So still pretty similar. My average rating was not good this month, though. I was at a 3.56, which actually is better than last month, but that's still not. I don't want to be reading 3.5-star books. So I'm up 0.45 stars from last month, because last month it was a 3-star average, but I've gone up a smidge.
But I went up quite a lot. My average rating was 4.1 stars, whereas last month it was 3.73 stars. So I picked out some better books. And I think it's because I was reading a lot more nonfiction.
Maybe that could be it. But I ended up reading 2,800 pages, which is 20% more pages than last month too. And I think even though I only read 1 more book than last month, StoryGraph calculated that as being 14% more books, which I'm not sure how the math works on that.
That is really strange.
But that's what it said.
I didn't calculate mine, but I did read 3,879 pages, but the previous month I read 3,104. So I'm up over 700 pages.
Mm-hmm. Which, so you're about 1,000 pages more than what I've read, but then that's what, 4 books more than me. This is what you read too.
Ish, yeah. I'm
Yeah,
not reading as many like short stories this year as I was last year, I think.
yeah. This
That's
year
why my
I
stats
did
are like
read
that.
a couple of shorter books than I typically do, but then my average time to finish a book was 6 days rather than five. It was 5 days faster than last month, which was 11 days. And I think it's because I was reading shorter books, but I think I was also reading a lot more this month too than I have been, like dedicating time
Yeah.
to it. Because I did end up having a week off of work, so that helped too.
Plus, we're also prepping for Ohio. So we're reading
Yes,
a lot of books because we're trying to read books from the authors that are going to be there. So my average time to finish a book was 3 days in the month of
dang,
May, whereas in April it was 7 days. So I'm starting and finishing a book a lot faster. And I have a whole list. I have a list in my phone of like my TBR for the summer and everything I need to finish. So I don't know. I'm kind of locking in. It's
yeah.
summertime. I'm getting my vitamin D. I'm laying out in the sun. I'm posting thought Instagram posts. It's great. I love it.
Follow at Hungry Ride to see all of the thirsty photos. um. Well, I guess with that, do you want to start with your first book? Because Mariah made a
I
boo
made a
boo.
mistake. I fucked up last month. We are still working through our doc. We're only 5 months into the year. Now we're
You
on
think
like
we'd
month
have it
six.
figured out by now?
But it's fine. I did forget to mention a book that I read that is kind of important because it's a classic. Lord of the Flies by William Golding. I finished last month. And if you don't know what it's
And
about,
by
I
last
feel
month,
like
Mariah
most people
means
do.
April, by the way, not
Yes,
May.
April. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's about a bunch of little British boys, ages 6 through 12, that are kind of plane crashed, stranded, marooned on an island and have to survive. And it's very white. It's a very Eurocentric outlook on what would happen. And like, it's supposed to be like this analysis of human nature. But I think it's like more so in my head like a case for why you need communism. Because I know if this was like in a
Yeah,
communist or socialist society, they all would have been fine. So, given what it is, it's a 3 star. But in my head canon, because of what I did, it's a 5 star read. So it's like it's an actual 3 star. But if I use my analysis, I'm like, oh no, I get it. Like if I talk to anyone about it, I'm going to explain it in terms of like being anti-capitalist.
yeah.
But that's it. That was my. I'm sorry, I forgot it. It was supposed to be in April. Ooh.
Well, I guess on to that. The first book I read in the month of May was Late Bloomer by Maisie Eddings. I read this in an ebook format too. I will talk about like what format I read everything in case anybody's interested in how we are consuming our read. But I originally picked this up because Maisie Eddings is going to be an author at the Columbus Book Fest. So we're going through our reading to try to read as many authors. Mariah and I are kind of dividing and conquering as many authors as we can hit for this, which as basically whenever it was posted, we're coming up on a month and away, so we're gonna have to really lock in. But this is basically an opposites attract sapphic romance about a girl named Opal who ends up getting some money from the lottery and she buys a flower farm, but then the woman that sold her the flower farm is actually the main. Pepper is the other woman. Her estranged mother sold off her family farm even though she didn't have the right to do that. So then they're kind of like got some turmoil because obviously Opal bought the farm, but then it wasn't really up for sale. So then Opal's just like this really nice girl. So she's like, you can stay living on this farm. We'll just like figure it out. We'll just figure it out. And then their relationship develops and blossoms. Um, but I ended up giving this book 2.75 stars because I did not like it. I'm not a big contemporary romance reader in the first place, but I thought, hey, it's a sapphic romance. I love queer people, obviously. Um, So I would love to read about queer women. And I felt like the romance in this was not written very well. I prefer a lot more pining and, like longing for wanting to be with each other, and the situations on why these characters like had conflicts felt very surface level and not realistic to me. The characters were so like stereotypically written. I thought there was like obviously great representation. Like one of our main, like both of our characters I think are represented to be autistic, but and then one has ADHD, but to me it just felt like it was just like surface level in that way, where it's just like, I'm autistic, I can't talk to people, that's it, rather than more than what it could have been, in my opinion. um they also like, it was very like chuggy and millennial core, where like they're talking about Taylor Swift all the time, like, so I was just
That's
like,
so. Ooh. And it's like
this
that
isn't
is
for
the
me.
reality. I
Yeah,
get it. It's the reality for a lot of people. It's not the reality for us.
yeah, which I'm sure plenty of queer people can relate to it and see themselves in it. That's great for you, not for me. Just not for me.
I started that book. I remember starting it and I was like, I don't know if I can do this. And I ended up like DNFing it very early in, like after the first chapter.
Yeah.
It's like, I was like, maybe it's just me. Maybe Kristen will see something different. And I'm glad I was correct.
But I know you were talking about reading one of this author's other works too, so I guess we'll have to keep you
Maybe the
updated
new
if we do that.
one. I don't know.
We'll see.
I don't know if I'll have time before we go to Columbus, but we'll find out. My first book that I finished in, I almost said 2026. I'm way too ahead of myself.
May.
In May, was When Trees Testify, Science, Wisdom, History, and America's Black Botanical Legacy by Rhonda L. Montgomery. And this is like memoir meets history and science. It's beautiful. It's haunting. It discusses like history and ties it back into nature because that's the author's forte and everything that like she studies and knows. And can you get like her family insights and also kind of like the history of like white supremacy and how it plays into like black culture in America and like their upbringing with like foraging and whatnot. I learned a lot about trees, and it's very like Robin Wall Kimmer coded. Like it's very similar. So if you like the vibe of like Robin's books, I think you're gonna really like this. It's just different. It's like a completely different change of pace because Robin Wall Kimmer's is always like centered around like indigenous history. So this was like black history. So really cool. I like it. It got sent to me forever ago, and I finally got around to just listening to the audiobook because I do prefer nonfiction as audiobooks. And it's wonderful. I gave it 5 stars. I don't have any complaints about it.
Well, I'll have to add it to my TBR because it sounds pretty good. The next book I read in the month of May was Mapping the Interior by Stephen Graham Jones. This was a physical read. I ended up picking up this book because like I was at Barnes and Noble and it was like a $5 book or whatever that they do sometimes. So I picked it up then, and it's basically just like a novella following like a young boy who's like being haunted by the ghost of his father. And I think it's like less than 100 pages or right at 100 pages, so it's really short. So I really don't want to say like too much about it because it's Stephen Graham Jones. I think if you like the Buffalo Hunter, you would probably like this because of the way that he discusses like indigenous cultures and things like that. But I think Buffalo Hunter is significantly better than this, also because this is a novella, so I don't think it could dive into as deep of the themes as I wanted it to, but it's very good for what it was. I didn't think it was very spooky. Like, it was a little like atmospheric, but it wasn't like I didn't get scared or anything, I don't think that was necessarily like the goal of it fully, even though it is like horror. I think with the way Stephen Graham Jones does horror, he's not like trying to scare you because of like what's happening in the scene. He's trying to scare you because of like colonialism and the way that we treat other people, and like in those aspects where it's a lot more like human in that way.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's done pretty well for a novella, but I liked it. I thought it was a really easy read. It took me like 2 sittings to read it in. So I'd
See, I want
say,
to read some of his other stuff, like Night of the Mannequins or whatever is another really short one.
I don't know, but I know, well, we're talked about, we want to read The Only Good Indians before the sequel comes out later this year. So I'm sure we'll
Yeah,
be reading
I'm
that.
excited for that one. That one's going to be
I've heard
delightful,
it's so good.
delectable.
Yeah, I've heard it's
It's
really,
going to
really,
be.
really good.
I already feel it in my soul. My next book, which was a graphic novel that I bought, is Eat the Rich, which is technically all 5 parts of it just
Like 5
compiled into
volumes.
one. Yeah. By Sarah Gailey. Sarah Gailey's going to be at the Columbus Book Fest, so this was my contribution to our efforts. And it's about a woman who goes to stay with her boyfriend's like bourgeois family, and they're actually like cannibals. I don't want to. This is another one of the things I don't want to say too much about, but I do like the vibes, like the politics in it. Like there's so much potential. I just wish this was like a full blown series so that everything could have gotten flushed out because it did feel kind of rushed because it's not super long, but there's a lot of potential there. So I liked it, but I didn't like love it. There is potential, but I give it 3 stars. I didn't hate it. The artwork on it's really nice. The colors are great. It's
Yeah.
very like I don't know who published it, but it's kind of like the Last House on the Lake. I think that's the one I read like last year. Kind of similar to the vibes of that. It's like artistically.
Yeah, I know Mariah's going to bring it to Ohio for us so I can read it too in Ohio. The next book I read this month was In Cold Blood by Truman Capote. I read this as an audiobook. So this is like Truman Capote. Mariah somehow has never heard of Truman Capote, which I don't know how you go like all throughout high school without hearing of Truman Capote because he's like one of the classic authors. Like I feel like every like whenever I was in school, whenever we were discussing like Harper Lee, like Truman Capote was brought up in that sense too, where this is his I want to say it's his only nonfiction novel, but don't quote me on that. But this is like his nonfiction novel that follows in this really small town in Kansas, Holcomb. This basically like this is a town where like everybody knows everybody. There's not a huge population. It's like not a lot goes on there or anything. But then like one day they basically discovered that like this very violent murder of this whole family got shotgunned and killed and there's like no evidence on why it happened. And I like this book. I gave it 3.75 stars. I think Truman Capote has a way with words. Like obviously I think he's a classic author for a reason. And it was a really interesting way that he did this novel too, because it wasn't like a who done it sort of way. Like you are introduced to the killers very early on in their timeline very early on, where he almost like is telling the story parallel as like the past and the present at the same time. And it was honestly like I was very shocked too for something being written in like the 50s to be so critical of the death penalty in the way that it was. And it honestly, it showed a lot of sympathy for the victims, but I think it also did end up showing a lot of sympathy for the killers. And because it goes into like the history of like the violence within their life and like the two men, obviously, one of the men like kind of had like a perfect life, but the other man, he was half indigenous, half white, and then his mother ended up being very abusive, and it discusses like all of like the real world implications and how like the way you're raised can affect and like how abuse can affect like what happens when you grow up. So it's a really interesting read. I don't know if it was like I think it could have done a lot more for already how long it was because the audiobook was like 15 hours long and a lot of it felt like it was just like going on and on. But I do think it was really good and I recommend it, but it wasn't like I don't know. It's a really interesting like crime novel. I can't even compare it to anything because I've never read anything like it before.
How does it compare to like Chaos?
Well, there's not really any there's no critique of like any governmental agency or in it really like it's really focusing on the individual person and how like society affects the individual person rather than it is more like because I think chaos is a really big job about going into like how government it plays into a lot of the ways different situations happen. Where this is a lot more personal, which I think because like the way the murder is viewed as such a personal level. Where especially I didn't know really anything about this book except for that like it was about like a really gruesome murder that happened in a small town. And I don't want to say anything in case you don't know anything, but it was interesting. Like it definitely was something, but also for written in like the 50s, I do think it was something.
I wonder. I feel like you'd like "By the Fire We Carry" by Rebecca Nagels. I think is what her name
I think
is.
I've seen that cover before. It's like
I
nothing
think
on the cover, really,
it's
except
not
for
like
like faded
it
in the
is
background.
centered around like yeah. It's like it is centered around like one, but also it talks more about like other stuff, kind of like Still Life with Bones, but not quite. I feel like it's a little bit more centered around like one particular crime, from what I
What was it
remember.
called?
Might add it to your TBR. By the Fire We Carry. I want to find more like true crime
Oh, I
esque
remember seeing this
stories,
cover because
but
it reminded me of
you
Killers of the
know,
Flower Moon. That's what the cover reminds
yes,
me of.
yeah. Whereas
Uh,
like Killers of Flower Moon is a lot more of a like a narrative nonfiction because
yeah.
of the like that
This one is
David or Stephen.
no,
No,
it's
it's
David
David.
Gran. Gran,
Yeah,
Gran.
David Gran. The way he writes
Mm-hmm.
was this one's a lot more like memoir slash nonfiction slash
I do
history.
think In Cold Blood is very narrative as well, but it's like more like a storybook narrative rather than it's like in the eyes of one person because we're getting like everyone's
Okay.
different perspectives and like what the town thinks of what happened and everything. It is a very
Yeah.
interesting novel.
I don't know why I haven't heard of him. I don't know if
I
it's
don't
because I
know.
grew up in the Pacific Northwest and because we have like the Shakespearean festival here every year, so everything we read a lot more
Oh,
Shakespeare in school.
we read
I don't
Shakespeare in
know.
school too,
I feel like
though.
we
But
read like every year people are reading
Breakfast at
Shakespeare stuff. People
Tiffany's,
go. I,
that's like
I
a
have seen the movie Breakfast at Tiffany's, but I just
yes, but
haven't
the
read the book.
book, he wrote the
I didn't know it was a
book.
book. Sorry, I'm sorry.
I feel like he's just like
I'm
he's one of,
working my way
and
through
I
my
know
classics.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure he was not like the greatest guy ever either. Like there's some book or something that's like about like the women he kept around him. I don't know. I had to find it and maybe read it. Like it's like I'm pretty sure he was like I don't know, swans. And then there's the Capote's Women is the book
If anyone's
because
read those, or you've read other pieces of work by him, let us know what you think because this is intriguing.
yeah, now Mariah's interested. It's Capote's Women, a true story of love, betrayal, and a swan song for an era. And it's about the complex relationships and scandalous true stories behind Truman Capote's never published final novel, Answered Prayers. I'm sure it's interesting. I'll probably have to check it out.
Well, all right. Well, since we're on the topic of classics, my third book that I finished this month was Slaughterhouse 5 by Kurt Vonnegut. Is that correct? Did I say it correct?
Yes.
Because in my eyes, when I read it, and it
Von
originally
Gut?
Vonnegut,
No,
Vonnegut,
you said Von Gut. And
it could
I
be
was
Vonnegut,
crying.
Von Gut. I don't know.
It's not Von
I
Gut.
mind you, I picked up another book by him today. If you don't know what Slaughterhouse Five was, I knew it was an anti-war novel, and I kind of kept it at that. But I never had to read this one in school.
Mm-hmm. Me
It's
neither.
so different than what I thought it was going to be. It's a very like non-linear sci-fi novel, but it's kind of like conflicting because I think if you were to go into this book and read it, because I think if you haven't read it and you've managed to make it this far without spoilers, like you should just go into it blind because it's kind of like fucking wacky. But I do think if you do not have like principles and like anti-imperialism, like neocolonialism, you like don't understand it, you're just gonna come out of it like being like, okay, war is bad for like weird reason. Like I don't think it really gets to like the
The meat and
basis of
potatoes.
like the military industrial complex. Like I can make those leaps and I can see connections, but I can definitely see somebody who like is still very like soaked and seeped in like American exceptionalist propaganda that maybe they wouldn't be able to,
So how do you
because we
think
do have a literacy crisis. But I don't know, it's conflict. I gave it like a 3.5 star. I don't think it's bad. I did enjoy the writing style, which is why I picked up his other book I just found at the used bookstore today. But I don't
Well,
know. It just didn't knock my socks off.
well, I wonder because like it is like one of those like classic high school novels sort of thing, which I didn't have to read in school. I don't know of anybody that, but I know it's like one of those sort of books where I wonder how do they teach it in school, like in American schools. I'd be curious to learn
I don't
that.
know because this is all centered around like World War II and like the main character, which this isn't a super big spoiler, but the main character is like a prisoner of war by the Nazis. But he's also
Hmm.
a very unreliable narrator, so he's kind of like not critical of the Nazis. He's kind of just like going through the motions of life. It's really strange. It's very strange. I didn't hate it, but it's just like you need principles to read this because I can see like anybody could pick it up and be like, yeah, World War II is bad, the Nazis were bad, and then like still be a Zionist piece of shit, you know? Like I don't know how to
Yeah.
explain it any other way than that.
Um, the next book I read was The Kite Runner by Khalid Hosseini. I read this as an ebook, and if anybody's been listening to our past episodes, I've been trying to read. There's a storygraph challenge that's like read around the world, so then like you're reading translated novels from this, and this was because I have two other people that I'm doing like this little book club thing with, and they chose to do this for Afghanistan. So I picked this up, and you basically follow a young boy and like his servant or like his father's servant's son, sort of thing. And it's basically like it's one of those books that's kind of reminded me like A Little Life is how it's like portrayed. Not like in the same way, because I don't know what happens in A Little Life. I haven't read it. I just know it's like trauma porn, like that's what everyone says. And this is kind of on that same level where like something really bad happens to the boy servant and then everything changes, sort of thing. And I don't want to spoil it if you haven't read it, but I did not like this book at all. I gave it 2.25 stars, and it's mostly because it was an attempt at something, but to me, it didn't come across well because there obviously very clearly should be discussions of class because we're following the rich son of like, I don't know what his father, like, it doesn't really explain like what his father did to like make his money, but it's like following his father as he lived in Afghanistan, and it's like the 1970s, so it's whenever like Soviet Russia invaded Afghanistan to help them overthrow their monarchy, right? So that they could then impose communism or whatever government the people of Afghanistan wanted. But this is like, to me, it was very like sympathetic to like the monarchy, and like it goes like it's a long ish book, but it goes like through all the way up to like the early 2000s, and like if you know what happens in like the early 2000s, like through like I don't think it
It
had.
involves two buildings
Yeah.
and a couple airplanes.
Where it kind of like it's like the novel spans a really long time, so it's really hard to like talk about it without spoiling it too, because obviously there are like different character tropes and stuff, but like it's like really horrifying, and like a lot of traumatic stuff is happening to these characters, and that's why I kind of made like the Little Life comparison. But like it is really Western centric in my opinion, because obviously I don't agree with everything the Soviet Union does. Like, believe it or not, Mariah and I are Marxist Leninists, but the Soviet Union is not like a all amazing place, right? But this book had entire like zero critique of America at all, and it acts as if like the Soviet Union was the only cause for like the civil unrest in Afghanistan. And to me, that just felt entirely like ahistorical and biased, which is why like I think this book, because like I don't know if you know this book is like so popular, like it's like so popular, like everyone's read it, like sort of thing, like, and I can see why is because like it kind of pushes like the American dream like narrative, and I feel like We could probably do like a whole podcast episode like dunking on this book.
Damn. Okay.
But I
Maybe
don't know if
I'll
it's just like
add
a
it to my
me thing.
list.
But I don't
No,
know.
probably not. It sounds like Orwell. Like,
It was really weird. I don't know. Like
okay.
I saw one whole like Goodreads review that I kind of agreed with. It was like Americans read this to make them think that they're worldly and stuff, and I was like, this kind of like is that. Which I did a little bit of research about the author too, because apparently he was born in Afghanistan, but then he moved to France very young too, and I think he was born like similar time to when the book originally takes place. So I mean, I don't know like what his family did or like why they left Afghanistan. I'm sure it is a not so great place to live right now, obviously, with how they treat people. But to act like if it was the Soviet Union's fault was just like, and not blame like America at all. That was just like where I was like, I can't, in good faith, recommend this book. You know?
That's crazy.
Yeah. I don't know.
It gives me the willies. I don't like it.
You'll have to read it and
Okay.
we'll discuss.
I will. For you, anything for you. My next one was a nonfiction book I listened to as an audiobook. I got this when it was on sale, because if you don't know, Audible will do sales. I know Audible's like controversial, but I can't always get everything I need from the library. But when they do these really big sales where I can get these audiobooks for like $1, less, like anything that was less than $5 because it's connected to my Goodreads, I was like picking up. So I got, I don't know, like 15 books for less than $30. It was a really good deal.
Yeah.
Like I was just buy now, buy now, buy now. I had so many receipts. Anyways, this one's called Internet for the People, The Fight for Our Digital Future by Ben Tarnoff. And honestly, I didn't have high expectations for it. I had seen it. Somebody recommended it to it. It's probably Nathan. I get most of my nonfiction recommended to me from Schizophrenics Reads, if you were curious. He's got banger reads. There's a reason he's so popular. But this one, oh, it was really good. Now, I don't think this is going to be for everybody. It was for me. It was for me. It was like a people's history of the internet and platforms and like why we need to include them in our struggle for liberation. And I learned so much about like eBay and Amazon and Google and like just how like right wing propaganda like functions. Like this coupled with terms of servitude, which I think I read in April or
that sounds right,
the month before. It's a chef's kiss sort of situation. And some of the books that he was referencing, I was like, oh yeah, bitch, I'm reading this like surveillance capitalism, which I'm still waiting on the library to send me my copy back. It's really good if you like learning about the internet. I think it's really solid. I gave it like 4.5 star. It's not like a 5-star read, but
yeah,
it's close enough for me.
The next book I read, and Mariah also did read this book as well. We read Parade of Horribles by Matt Dittman, which I did as a tandem read with the physical book and the audiobook because I am an audiobook fighter. Love that audiobook. Jeff Hayes. I wish he could narrate my life. But I think Mariah just read it ebook, right? Because your physical copy never came in.
Yeah, I ordered from, I can't remember what the company is.
Whatever does the
Grim Oak. I know I wasn't the only person because they sent out an email like the day after, who we all thought we were getting the book the day it launched because of how it was worded on the thing, and apparently they had like gone back. They never emailed anyone saying when things were going to ship, but then the day after, hey, we've gotten all of these emails saying where's the book. Actually, it's not going to be here until the middle of June. So I did go on KU and read it, which kind of worked out because I was able to extract a lot more quotes than reading it physically, but I digress.
Yeah. But this is, I don't want to say anything too much because if you haven't read the series, then like obviously this one is just following like Carl and Donut through a racing aspect, like I think Mario Kart kind of. But Mariah and I, we adore this series, and Matt Dittman put his special sauce in A Parade of Horribles as well. We loved and adored this. My only complaint for this book is literally Mordecai was underused this whole novel. He was not there. Like, he was there, but he was, like, barely there, and Mordecai's one of my favorite characters, so I felt like it was incredibly frustrating that he wasn't there, so I'm hoping Matt makes sure he's in the next book significantly. And I don't know, we very much enjoyed it, but we have a full review on the podcast link below if you want to go check out our full in-depth thoughts. We got a lot out of that book. We talked about it for a hot minute too, longer than most of our episodes.
And the thing is, we cut it short. Like, we could have talked about so much more. So my next one on my list was Letter from Japan by Marie Kondo. I got sent this book in October because I reached out to my contact at Penguin. I was like, I need this because I love Marie Kondo. I love the KonMari method. I remember when the show came out, I was so into it. And I saw she had like a book that was not about organizing. And I thought that was fascinating. And it's like a memoir, but also a little bit more because each chapter is kind of told through the lens of a specific Japanese term and the nuances surrounding it because their language is a lot more robust. Like the words mean a lot more than
Mm-hmm.
like English words mean. So it was really cool to see like there's a whole chapter about kawaii and like how she talks about it or like how they say thank you and how like when they're saying thank you it means so much more, but then she like adds her own lived experience and then also her personal philosophy, and she talks about how like different actors like somebody who supports like environmental justice and how like the KonMari method can be attributed to that, because if you don't know anything about the KonMari method, it's not just like a minimalist approach to like keeping things in your life. It's things that like you love and enjoy and you want to keep around you, that like that's like the whole thing is like
Does this
keeping things
bring you
around you
joy?
that make you happy. Yeah, like you hold them. Taking care of your clothing, like her folding method is to ensure that your clothing lasts you. So I buy fast fashion, fun fact, not like Shein, but I go to Walmart and I buy stuff on clearance, and like through her folding method I have been able to get my clothing to last so long. So I'm spending less. So like my impact is I would love to spend more and invest in my wardrobe, but that's just not financially feasible for a lot of people. And this just takes
Mm-hmm.
makes you a lot more intentional with the things that you're keeping in your life. But I think like that really carries over into this. And I just really I love the way she writes. She's so sweet. And I love Marie Kondo. It's a
What if you
five-star read
found
for
out
me. I
she
don't
was
think it would be for
evil?
everyone. No, I don't think so. I in my head, she's a comrade. Like there's no way. Like the way that this book was written, I was like, Marie Kondo, I think you're a Marxist. I think you get it. Like give me a day. I we'll be on the same page.
Okay. And that was audiobook?
Yes, I have the physical copy, but I did end up listening to the audiobook on Libby because I just prefer it that way.
All right. The next book I read in the month of May was Horror Movie by Paul Tremblay. This is an ebook. I got it through the library. And also, this is another author that's going to be at the Columbus Book Fest, which is why I picked this book up. And this is basically, it's like multiple timelines where you're kind of following. In like the 90s, there's like these people that made a movie, and then like after the filming of the movie and like during like the filming of the movie, like some crazy stuff like happened, and like in the future all of the other like people that like helped make the movie, it was a very small crew obviously, but they've all passed away, some from suspicious circumstances, some like one girl got cancer. Like it's all just like, I don't know, like it's all like suspicious. But then they're wanting to reboot the movie, even though the movie was never like officially published. Only like a couple scenes were posted on YouTube, and then like it kind of gained like a cult following, especially around the main character. The thin kid is like who he played as in the movie, and then like that's been like got a cult following. So like you follow this guy as he's like rebooting the movie, and then also like timelines of him making the movie, and then also like him like finding his fame. It's really interesting book. It's not like, I don't know if it's the writing style or if it's just the story. I didn't necessarily like care about any of the characters. I do think it was like interesting. I read it pretty quickly, and like I was reading it and I was like, wow, I don't know. Like I was intrigued, but I also like wasn't obsessed or anything. So I ended up giving it 3 stars because I don't want to say like I was underwhelmed, but I was also just like, I finished it and I was just like, okay, I read a book, you know, and it was just fine. I don't know. I'm sure people extracted more from it than me, but I was just like, it was fine. Which, I mean, the average Goodread rating was like 3.25, so I'm like, I think I have the same opinion as most other people. Where it's just like
I
fine.
wonder how this would fare, even though I know it's like materially different, but it's like it's about like them filming a movie. Is David Sodergren's Night Shoot?
That's what because I haven't read Night Shoot either, but I was kind of like getting like the same vibe. Like, I imagine it's similar. I don't know. You read Night Shoot though, didn't you?
Yeah, like it's definitely different, like plot wise, but I feel like I probably would have enjoyed Night Shoot more over
I don't
Tremblay's
know.
story. But I don't
But
know. I
I
mean, like it's fun, I guess, but I love David Sodergren's work, so
I mean,
I am biased.
I only read The Heart by David Sodergren, and I just thought that was fine too. So, which this wasn't even splatterpunk. It was just like weird. You know, it's just like the weirdness is what made it horror, I guess.
Well, that's lame.
I don't know. It wasn't like
Boo! No, I'm just kidding.
horrible. It was just like, I don't know. I would need to like talk to somebody about like somebody else that read it and like compare and contrast our thoughts.
Up next on my list is One Bad Mother, Praise of Psycho Housewives, Stage Parents, Momfluencers, and Other Women We Love to Hate by E.J. Dixon. I was very excited about this. This was a book that was sent to me a while ago, and then I requested the audiobook on Libby. I love doing a tandem read if I can, but this one I primarily listen to. The conceptually, it's supposed to be exploring like the nuances and like societal implications of what makes somebody a bad mom. And it's doing this through the lens of like different moms in pop culture. So there's like a chapter on like Casey Anthony.
Okay.
There's the one about like the lady, the mommy vloggers, stuff
Did
like
you
that.
Patsy Ramsey?
I don't think so.
Like,
See,
what?
there was like sometimes I know it was really
I
weird.
feel like that's
There's
a
like
big
the
one.
mommy dearest, like what that was based on.
Like, you're
and
gonna do
everything.
Casey Anthony. I feel like you gotta do Patsy Ramsey.
She really didn't. That's the whole thing. Is like this kind of like poop from a butt. I gave it like 2.5 star rating. Because she's so like dead set on like, listen, I am acknowledging I have privilege as like a middle class white woman. Which saying middle class always triggers me. Like it makes my eye twitch
Like,
because
in
I'm
the
like,
working
okay,
class.
you're
So
either
you're
working
not.
class or you're part of the exploiting class.
Yeah.
First off, and then like there's no real mention of capitalism. Like she'll do some sort of like surface level kind of like, oh, like talking about black motherhood, but it's like in such a surface level way. And then she's like, oh, I want this to be about like, I'm just focusing on American mothers. Does she ever talk about like indigenous mothers? No. It's just like, it's like a nothing burger. And I was so excited because I think this is such a cool concept if it was executed perfectly, or not even perfectly. A garden variety leftist. I think she's a rad lib at best. It was really, really strange, and I did not enjoy it in the slightest. I mean, like, there's definitely like, if you are a principled feminist, maybe go into it. But I don't even know if somebody was like getting started and reading this. It's very much like, oh, well, we're all bad moms. Like,
What the?
ew. And I have the right to say that because I have 2 children.
Yeah, mother.
I'm mother.
And then our next read, because Mariah also did read this, we read There Is No Antimemetics Division by Quantum. I did this as a physical read. I think Mariah did it as tandem read because it ended up being a lot. I don't even know how to like describe this because I was just basically, it's like a SCP book where like you're following,
but the SCP is dementia.
Yeah. like I don't know. And it's like, if you are listening to this and like, what's the hell is an SCP? That's a good question, and I don't have the answer to that. So, like, it's
secure, contain, protect, foundation, and it's like a Cabin in the Woods. If you've ever seen the movie Cabin in the Woods, it's supposed to be kind of like a big brain meta allegory for like, can you kill fascism as an idea?
But is it even fascism as an idea? Because like we only get like one mention of like that, and that's like World War II, and they're like, we won World War II, and then now it's all gone. I I don't know. The book was really weird. I give it 3 stars. I don't know if Mariah ended up lowering your rating to 3 stars, but
I just gave it 3.
we did do
Flat 3.
a full podcast episode, so you can definitely go listen to that if you want our full nuanced opinions on how we felt about this. But it just wasn't. I would just say this wasn't a book for us, which
I don't think it's bad, but it's just not for me. In the same way, like,
yeah,
This Is How You Lose the Time War, people love it.
wasn't for us.
I can totally understand it. Not for me.
Which a lot of people in the book club did end up enjoying the book, so I'm glad it won, and people obviously got to experience a story that meant a lot to them. But this is just not a story that meant a lot to me.
Sorry. Next on my list was Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury. I had never read this. This is another one of the ones
I've never read it either.
Banned books. I knew it was about burning books. Like, I knew that much.
451 is the temperature a book burns at. Whatever that
Okay, there
means.
was times when I was reading this and I thought maybe this was written within like the last like 10 or 20 years. I was like, well, maybe it's like a newer. No. This was written in like the 1950s.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck? Because this shit's crazy. But the plot is kind of weird and the pacing's kind of funny. But the politics in this, like, we could do a full discussion about it because I've been thinking about it a lot. But it's like the firefighters.
Tyler said the only thing he remembered was a robot dog or something.
Yeah, there's like robo-hounds. It's crazy. And I was like, this is a little bit too similar to my reality. I think it has the capacity to be a 5-star read. But also, I don't know. The main character may or may not have fallen in love with a minor.
What?
I don't know. It's really confusing. And I need somebody else I know to read it. Well, I did like it, though. I think I gave it like a 4.25 star. It's one of the classics. Like, of all the classics that I've been reading this year, this is the one where I'm like, Kristen, I need... Please read it. I need to know what you think.
I have the book. Like, I have it on my classic shelf.
I did listen to the audiobook. I have the book. I planned on doing a tandem read, but I was like, I started it and then I was like, okay, I want to like keep going.
It's just
and
really
then I just
hard
like kept going
for me because like you're telling me to read it, but it's like right now because I'm trying to prioritize all the authors in Ohio, so I'm like, I can't guarantee
after. I'm not saying like in your immediate future, but at some point you should read it. So maybe in like September or October. Actually, probably not September. Probably like October.
The audiobook's pretty short too. There's a 5-hour one and a 6-hour one. So
I did the one by Tim Robinson.
Okay, this one's Stephen Hoyer, and this one Tim Robbins.
Oh yeah, Tim Robbins.
This was the one that has a hold. The other one doesn't have a hold. This one's only a 2-week wait though, so I won't put it on hold.
Tim Robbins did a really good job.
Okay. Well,
and then last on my list is One Piece.
I'm not done.
Oh, you're not done? Usually I finish up before you. Oh.
I read 8 books this month. Thank you.
Let me sit.
The 8th book I read this month was One Day Everyone Will Have Always Been Against This by Omar El Akkad. Is that how you say it? But I did this as a standard read because I bought the physical book, I don't know, earlier this year. And then the Libby hold for this audiobook, I was waiting like months. Like, this is like one of those ones, like the wait is so long. And for certain nonfiction, I think it's easier to tandem read it because I want to make sure that I'm really consuming it. Where if I'm reading the word, sometimes if I'm just listening, I end up zoning out a little bit. This was one I really wanted to make sure I was sticking my teeth into because everyone says it's so good. Like, it's because it's like part memoir, part like journalistic endeavor talking about like how journalism, like views these atrocities that happen that the West like does to other parts of the world and how like the news impacts a lot of things. But I like everyone was talking about how good this was, and so this was like really high up. Like I was like, oh, this better be really good, and it was really good. Everybody is actually right. It is amazing. It is one of those books that it does such a natural way of critiquing liberalism that like literally get every liberal person in your life to read this. I don't know how beneficial it would be to a conservative to read it, but I do think it has to be a liberal person that's also like aware of the genocide and has like an actual understanding of the genocide that's going on, where they understand the genocide, but they're like, but still vote for Kamala. Like, no. But like, and then this book does a great job about dissecting that and everything. I gave it 4.75 stars. Like, it's really good. And it's really short too. I was not expecting it to be as short as it was. It was like a nice bite size. Like, I read it in like 2 days.
And you know what's crazy though is like I remember when this was like blowing up and people were like, "It's anti-resistance," and then I read it and I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" Because there's
Anti-resistance
one
how?
paper thin critique about October 7th and how Hamas killed these people, but then it's also like immediately followed up with what like Israel did. It's just like
Yeah.
the same thing as saying like, okay, 9/11 was bad, but the war on Iraq like doesn't justify
Yes.
that. And we
No.
should take into consideration the whole history. It was a whole thing. I don't know if you remember. It was in our one of our group chats. We were talking about it, and people to this day are still mad about it, or I don't know why. They just think
I
it's
think that's probably.
anti-resistance, and it's really
I don't
not.
think it's anti-resistance because, like, I think it tries to do like it doesn't honestly even really discuss like the Palestinian resistance all that much, in my opinion. It's mostly critiquing like how Western people are viewing the genocide and how what they're doing to help it, if they are even trying to do anything to stop it.
It literally,
Because
it's
like,
like so good for liberals. So like, there's a
yeah,
couple lines where he's just straight
yeah.
at them, just
Well,
like
because
by the throat.
one of the scenes that
Oh,
was even really touching is the way that he discussed like Aaron Bushnell. If you don't know, that's the guy that like set himself on fire in front of the Israeli embassy in the United States. And like the way that it talks about it too, like it praises that action specifically. So praising that action but then saying that it's anti-resistance makes no sense to me.
it's very weird. I don't know. People, I think they cherry pick the lines because I think they let that take too much attention when I think the overarching message, like it's at liberals. So I was like, we have to
Yes.
meet them at some point. And it's like, this is the point
Yeah.
that they need to go to. Also, this is by him as well, which I
Oh,
need to throw in the book
that's
club.
the non. Yes, he talked about that book a lot in the memoir because he talks about like whenever he wrote it and stuff like that, which I hadn't heard of it as like a standalone book, but I knew he wrote it because he talks about like the different book tours he was going on and stuff, and then how people were like viewing the book as he was writing it, because this does span like years of his life.
Yeah. I think, and then you follow this up with Perfect Victims, and you're
Yeah,
going to
that
be
one's on my
like,
TBR too.
chef's fucking kiss. They Can't Kill Us Until They Kill Us by Hanif Abdurraqib. This is like, this is what I want every memoir to be like, the way it's written. It's like poetic and it's personal. It's very sad and it's educational. It's about music and I don't listen to a lot. I've already like reviewed this on TikTok, but like it's about music. It's about a lot of things I don't typically gravitate towards. And I don't even care because I could just sit here for hours and hours and hours and read his work because his other book, There's Always This Year on Black Ascension and basketball, or maybe that's flipped. Again, I don't watch sports, but I learned
Mm-hmm.
so much about like the cultural significance of basketball to like Black culture in Ohio is really
Yeah,
cool. Hanaf Abdurraqib was at
the book fest
the
last
Columbus
year.
Book Fest last year, so part of me was like, well, maybe he'll just show up.
Mm-hmm.
So
I mean, he's
read
from
it.
Columbus.
Anything is possible. He might just be there. Fingers
Yeah.
crossed. But that was my last little nonfiction read. I listened to the audiobook. I also have the physical book, and I need to send you pictures of the one that he couldn't read out loud.
Wait, he couldn't read one out loud?
Yeah, I remember because he was like, "Oh, all of this was like redacted, and it doesn't make sense." So he like offers a different thing in place. The audiobook is
Oh, I
different than
haven't
the
gotten to that
regular
point,
book.
I don't think.
Oh, maybe that's why. I thought you were a lot further.
I'm like
Um,
almost 70% of the way through.
yeah, whenever you get to that point, let me know and I'll
Okay.
send you pictures of it. But it's really cool. And then I'm on One Piece, but getting copies of One Piece right now is a little hard. So I'm trying to figure it out. They're in Water 7. There's a lot going on. I don't
You
have a
didn't
lot
say
to
what
say though
numbers
because
you
they
are.
literally just got on, huh?
What number? What volumes?
I'm currently reading
No, what did you
35. I
already
finished
read? What did you read this month? What volumes did you read this month?
33 and 34.
Because I'm going to pop it
which
up on the
was
screen.
okay. Oh, I see. I read volumes 33 and 34 so far this last month, which is too little. So in June I will be reading a lot more. So keep an eye out for that. But they just had the little foxy pirate fight. That's all done and gone, and now they're in Water 7 working on figuring out what's going on with the Go Mary and my girl Robin, Nico Robin is a little sus. But I love her, so she can do no wrong in my eyes, so I don't care. She could kick a baby. It'd probably be fine. I'm just kidding.
Well, that's everything we've read this month. But you had some DNFs this month again. Another DNF month for Mariah.
Do you DNF anything?
No, I don't DNF books. I read them.
This is true. I DNF'd the Flame of the Flower. I didn't have it actually like calculated correctly, but I had less than 100 pages I think left, and I was done. I was tired of it. If you don't know, The Flame of the Flower by Kathleen Whittiwise is this bodice ripper historical romance from the 1970s. It's like one of the original ones. Like she's like a home name. I brought that book home and my mother-in-law was like, I've read every single book by her. And I was like, oh shit, like this is like a big deal. But the issue with this one specifically is that the main character is a rapist. And
the main character?
And the main male character, because you're getting multiple point of views. The main male character, love interest, is a man who owns a plantation and has a woman who is black that runs his house, and he refers to as the N-word S. Yeah, wow. She's happy. She loves her job. It's really fucking weird. Her job. Yeah, her job. Bitch, what the fuck? It's so weird. Mind you, he like sexually assaults this minor because he's like looking for a hooker or something on the strip, so his buddies bring back this girl who's like killed her uncle and she's like running away, and then he's like he gets her pregnant. It's really fucked up. And I was like, how is this reading? And then by where I was at, she was giving birth.
1970s dark romance.
Literally, it's like the whole like thing for a dark romance working,
isn't it?
Yeah. So I had to put that. I had to officially just stop reading that because I want to start a different one. Because I need something better than that. I also DNF'd Love Me, Stalk Me by Laura Bishop. I saw some of her stuff popping up on my...
Have you read her other stuff?
No, Lauren Beale. Oh. This is Laura Bishop. Different. All these Laura fuck B's. That lady too. Anyways, this one, she was the one that was at some like... I don't remember if it was the Monster Erotica Book Con, some other, maybe it was the one in New York.
No, it was the New York Book Con, the big one.
Where she had her male friends, they're all like shirtless wearing biker helmets. I don't know why. I don't know what her other books are. It was really fucking weird. Anyways, I got to 24%. The whole synopsis of this is like, she's got, the main girl is like #girlboss, and she's got this piece of shit like finance bro boyfriend who's always trying to get her to diet and lose weight, but this guy who is like, she hires to help with like loss prevention, but he's like ex-military and he has nothing in his house but like this plain twin bed. And
a twin bed?
Yeah, twin bed, nothing on the walls, boring. But he was in the military, so he's really actually
bed frame or straight on the floor?
It might just be straight on the fucking floor. I'm surprised it's not a cot. But her friend at this store, she works at like this luxury store like Nordstrom or some shit, is like, you know what you need? An AI boyfriend. Whoa. Is ChatGPT paying Laura Bishop this manufacturing consent?
You tell me.
And it's fucking weird, but he hacks in so that he can be the AI boyfriend and like text it back. And apparently I was talking to my friend, I'm not going to say her name, but she was telling her boyfriend like the whole thing, and I got like the voice message from it because it gets so bad because apparently she like goes to break up with the boyfriend, and then he's like in the office, like she's working, and this guy, like the security guy, is always watching her like Zayd Meadows. But this is the one time where he's like, you know what, I'm going to give them some space. And then the ex-boyfriend at that point is like trying to sexually assault her, and then he
Oh my
decides he's actually
god.
gonna try. It's so fucking stupid. And I got to 24%. I was like, I can't do it. There's TikTok song references. There's I can't.
I don't know why you even picked that up and you're like, I'm gonna read
I did
this.
because I
Like,
saw it and I was like,
that's
what
where
could
your
it
first
be?
problem is.
I know. And also Laura Bishop was in Reader Spaces, like commenting
Oh,
shit.
whenever
So
people
that's
are
a
like,
whole other thing.
your
So
book
if you were wondering
sucks.
about that one, don't fucking I cannot I can read a lot of dog shit books. This one was particularly bad.
I
I
don't
can't do it.
think I don't think the overlap of the people that enjoy like that book and then like the people that listen to our podcast, I don't think there's any overlap in that Venn diagram.
I really hope so. I hope that's the case. And if you're new here, sorry I'm a fucking bitch. I don't know what to tell you. So now we're at like what we're currently reading right now. Um, my first book, mind you, I'm talking about like dog shit books. I'm reading
Another
My
dog shit
Dreadful
book.
Darling
Wow.
by H.D. Carlton. Actually, but this one's it's readable, but it is really fucking bad. It's at least I can read it, and I'm just like, okay, it's a train wreck. It's kind of like a Penelope Douglas book, I suppose. I don't know. It's H.D. Carlton. They're all bad,
Yeah,
but
Mariah's
this
favorite
one
author.
is.
I will never let you live down giving 5 stars to you.
Listen. This is before I
Haunting
had like
Adeline.
a rubric. But anyway, I that's changed. This one is a bully romance, and I'm very confused as to how there could be a romance, but it's like so I'm very early in. I only have like 11% in. This thing is fucking long. It's like over 500 pages, and I don't know
Oh
how.
hell no.
And it's supposed to be two. It's supposed to be a duet because that's what H.G. Carlton does. And she the main female character and the main male character, right? They're like the same age, but her dad apparently is a serial killer and killed his mom. And when she was 9 years old, she wrote a character statement talking about him positively because her mom made her do it to show his innocence, but he got put away for 15 years or something. And this guy, which goes by Dread, he's held it. So he's been actively finding her, seeking her out, and bullying her, and he has like tied her to a pole in a blizzard. And
This isn't bullying. This is assault.
I know, but then he's like, okay, he had his swim team bros go do this, and then he's like, oh, I gotta save her, and then he like strips her naked so he could like help her not get hypothermia, even though he like fucking
By
hates
taking off her
her.
clothes.
All of her clothes so they like warm up, and then he writes in Sharpie all over her naked body the dates of all of these serial killer like the instances, even though like she doesn't like her dad, like she is trying to keep him away, but now there's like a copycat killer. I don't know, it's really stupid, but here I am, hook line and sinker, like I'm gonna see it through.
Well, we'll see next
It's
month, you guys.
drama. Keep an eye out for that one.
End up being another DNF. Okay, so one of the books I'm currently reading right now is Kill the Beast by Sarah Smith, which I think, don't quote me on this, I think it's a Beauty and the Beast retelling, which apparently I'm collecting those like Pokemon cards this year, reading a bunch of Beauty and Beast retellings, but it's about a girl that I guess is trying to enact revenge because like her brother got killed at like this festival fair thing by like a beast. So there was like a massacre that all of these like people died. So now she like hunts fairies and kills them. And she also hates her dad. That's like where I'm really early on. I'm like 7% in. But I picked this up because Sarah Smith is going to be an author at the Columbus Book Fest. Again, dividing and conquering. We have to hit at least most of the main authors. But I'm very wary of this book because it's allegedly cozy fantasy. I've seen it tagged on Fable as cozy fantasy, and then like Goodreads towards like the bottom like genres it has cozy fantasy, but again, I don't know because I'm also like from the way this subject is, and like it's not like violent, like she just carries around like a troll head and it's like gruesome, but I'm like I don't understand how that could be cozy fantasy personally. But like it's fine right now. Like I don't have any qualms with like the writing style or anything. And I'm also very early on, so who knows if that'll change. But I don't know.
We'll find out. next month. What's
Yeah.
going on? Unless it's a DNF. Maybe this will be Kristen's first DNF of the year. No, I'm just
I've
kidding.
DNF'd this year already.
I know, I was joking. Okay, of the quarter.
Maybe. Maybe
There we
not.
go. That's
Probably
better.
not. I think it's pretty short. Like, I think the Kindle says it'll only take me like 4 or 5 hours to read. So if it's that short, I might as well finish it.
My next book is Kill Anything That Moves by Nick Turse. This was something that was recommended to me by my friend Azura over on TikTok. This may be the first nonfiction book that I'm listening to it. I also have the Kindle edition of this because I'm going back through and rapidly highlighting everything in this, but I had to stop listening to it because it is so bad. It is so bad because this is all about what happened in Vietnam, and I knew what happened in Vietnam was bad. It is so much worse. It honestly is like the blueprint for what is happening to the people of Gaza right now, down to the white phosphorus bombs.
Dang.
And how it was used as a laboratory. And yet, there's so much revolutionary optimism in this because the guerrilla warfare was good. It was effective. And I just think this is one of those books, depending on how the end of it goes, it might be like a 6-star read, if I'm going to be honest. It's crazy.
And you'll be
This is like Jakarta method. This is like, whereas like, okay, so Still Life of Bones is really bad and makes you feel bad. And then Jakarta method is like a step up. This is like way past Jakarta method. Like it's just full violence, it's I am like stunned. I'm stunned every time. And it's not even that long. It's like less than, I think it's maybe a little over 300 pages with the appendix and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's nuts.
Wow.
Solidarity with the Viet Cong. Y'all really did a number. And honestly, it makes me not feel bad for Vietnam veterans.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of crossover between this and Dungeon Crawler Carl because the whole kill thing, guess what? That was the mantra in Vietnam.
Wow.
They were socialized to think that and chant that.
It reminds me of Chaos too, because in Chaos it does talk about like the Vietnam War a bit, because that's around the time Charles Manson murders were like popular and stuff too. So I wonder within that you could use like the context of the Manson cases too, because one of the reasons why like the CIA was trying to like demonize hippies and stuff was because they were against the Vietnam War.
Yeah, add this one to your list because right now where I'm at, I think it'll be an important one. But 44% in, and I'm just like every line, I'm like, I gotta take a break. I can't do it anymore.
You gotta lock in and finish it because people obviously suffered worse than you have just by reading the story.
I know, it makes me want to like I like want to like cry and throw up every time I hear something because it's so gruesome and brutal, and it makes me so angry that people are just letting cycles repeat themselves.
Yeah.
I think that's what's so frustrating. I'm going to lock in, I'm going to finish it, and then I'm going to make it everybody's problem. Everyone's going to hear me talk about it for the next 6 months.
Wow. And then the next book I'm currently reading is They Can't Kill Us Until They Kill Us, which, again, Mariah's already discussed earlier because I picked it up because Mariah recommended it. Because if you don't know anything about me, one of my all-time favorite bands is Fall Out Boy. And this does have a very well-researched chapter about Fall Out Boy because Mariah wants to look at me and tell me that you thought that Fall Out Boy was a bunch of posers and not actually suffering from mental illness or originally part of the true punk scene of Chicago, which, like, mind your business. Stay out of things you don't know. And so I'm glad if this was the one thing that had to set you straight. I'm glad it did, but I'm
sorry they did a song for Hot Wheels, like the Racerverse TV show on Netflix.
Was
so
it
I was
even
like, oh, they're just fucking sellouts.
I thought it was Patrick Stump.
I don't know.
I think it might have been Patrick Stump because
it might just have been Patrick.
Because I'm pretty sure he does a lot of theme songs for like kids stuff. So
yeah,
which I mean, he's got a wife and a family, so I'm sure it's got
Dude,
more
I
to do
knew
with
as soon as
that,
I
but
saw the Fall Out Boy chapter and I sent it to you, you were gonna pick it up. I knew it. I knew it. I was like, oh, this. I was like, and there's MCR in it.
and then also 21 Pilots too, which I do like. Well, because like I am very
Yes.
big in like the emo music and stuff like that, and the author obviously does have a big relationship with emo music, which I appreciate. It does talk a lot about rap, which I'm not as well versed in, but it's still interesting to hear about the different chapters. I mean, I think it's going to be either a very high 4-star or 5-star read. I really do enjoy it. I love the memoir style, like essays that this is done through, because it reminds me of my favorite nonfiction read last year, The Anthropocene Reviewed by John Green. And I do think that if you like this book, you would like The Anthropocene Reviewed, where I don't necessarily think like The Anthropocene Reviewed obviously goes into as much, because this book obviously discusses a lot with like Black Lives Matter protests and like the way how the country affects like Black Americans and things like that with the way that the government is ran. Obviously, because John Green is a white man, he doesn't have those same perspectives to put in, but I do think he does do a good job with like his own like spin on like a essay with memoirs, and like he does discuss capitalism, but not as in depth as this does, but it is like the same sort of vibe where it's like poetic and like heartfelt and thought provoking. So this is like the same exact vibe. But I do really
I
like
know
it so
you're
far.
gonna like the other book too. I just know it. I feel it in my soul.
You mean his other book? I'll
I
have to
mean,
add it
I
to my
don't
list.
even watch football or basketball or anything, and
Yeah,
he's
I don't
still
know anything
like.
about basketball either.
But I am reading One Piece. I have a bunch of One Piece lined up, and I think I might get this Shonen Jump app. So I'm still Water 7. There's only so much I can do right now where I'm at. That's it. Period. That's all I got going on. Next month we're gonna be reading a ton. There's gonna be a lot of variety
Uh
given what we're reading for the book fest in Columbus and then also for our book club.
yes, next episode will be Spread Me by Sarah Gailey, which Mariah has already read and discussed in a previous episode, but now I get to read it, and two birds, one stone for the podcast and then also for the Columbus Book Fest. So that's very exciting for us. And then we also will be doing our book club read next month. If you want to join us on Fable, we'll be reading Giovanni's Room by James Baldwin. And yeah, we're going to be discussing some memoirs, which I mean, we've already been reading some memoirs this month too. We'll get to discuss more memoirs that we've read in the past if you really care about our opinions on memoirs. But other than that, thanks for listening. Thank you, and good night.